Right, hi guys, how we doing? So, on my last video, a few of you saw that I had a visual hole through my very quite low mileage 30C Pirelli. Let's get this 100% right, because there's quite a few different tyres that I've used it as. So this is the P0 TLR race. So this ain't their top of the range super light one. This one's got a physical, you can feel it, anti-puncture guard through there, which makes it a bit more robust. So this is equivalent to say Conti 4000, 5000, Swalby Pro 1, kind of training race tyres, you know, before you start going up into the leagues of like super lightweight race only tyres. However, I wanted to see if I could try a different way of repairing it. So in the past, I've used basically just standard old inner tube patches on the inside. And it's worked, and it works quite well up to a certain size hole. Before then, obviously the patches are rubber, and they eventually, you know, when you get a hole too big, they push you. Now, you saw that this had a visual hole through it, so what I've decided to give a go is I've ordered off Amazon UK some of these. Oh, dropped it. Right, so this is designed for a scooter. So this is a 30mm patch with a bung for locating it centrally. However, I've already dry pulled one of these through, and the actual hole in my tyre, this kind of 3mm diameter kind of bung, actually fills it quite nice and tight. So what I'm going to do, and it uses good old standard, let's get it out, I haven't got it out of the packet yet, no prep at all, right. Got no nails, can't rip. Okay, so it uses good old standard tip. Is it tip top? Or is that cream? Yeah, vulcanizing rubber glue. Now, a lot of people use this wrong. Believe it or not, what you're meant to do with vulcanized rubber glue is put it on there, and then you're meant to let it dry for 5 minutes, and then put your patch on with this feeling just tacky. And then basically this causes a chemical reaction with your patch or your standard inner tube patch over another 5-10 minute period to stick. And you're also not meant to try and pick off the clear bits on the outside. I suppose you can, but actually it's just going to help strengthen it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a go now. So I'm going to put my glue, actually let's see if I can get the patch through. I can't see the tyre. If you want to know what I've cleaned this with, what I've done is I've got an old tyre that is cut up into bits. I used bits of rubber for many different things, gaskets or rubber washers, and you use the rubber of the other tyre to rub the glue off, and as you can see it takes it back quite well. I've also then roughened the area up a bit, so we'll see what happens. What I'll do now is off camera I will put the glue on, whack it around there, and then in 5 minutes time we'll start the camera again. I'll pull this through and we'll take it from there. In fact, let's see if I can get it just started a little bit there. There you go. So straight away, look, that goes through there, and then that will go down, and as you can see, if I pull that off, I don't want to put it through yet because I want to do it when there's glue, because I want the glue to go down. I'm going to put a bit of glue on here as well, so it pulls through the rubber there and creates more of a seal. As you can see, actually on my tyre, that basically covers the whole area and leaves the sidewalls for a bit of compliance. So hopefully that'll be fine. Get back to you in a bit. Okay guys, so it's been 5 minutes. Basically what you do is on the bottom of the patch here, under there was some little blue covers which I poured off. I've put a tiny bit of extra glue with about a minute to go just around there where it pours through, so I'm hoping that will go into the actual hole and help cement the hole a bit as well. This is now basically feeling dry to the touch, and I'm going to pull it through, as you can see, just there you go. Sorry, blocking my mouth. Let's pull that through. I'm going to give that a nice firm tug, and then I'm going to put lots of pressure around the top and keep pushing that down for a few minutes. Now, if this works, you know, this would be awesome, because the amount of people who buy tubeless tyres, and whilst tubeless tyres, you know, anything kind of up to like that, so flint up to 2-3 mil, blackthorn, your average kind of blackthorn's about kind of the same kind of pointiness and diameter as this. Tubeless works perfectly fine on it, works fantastic. And we're talking the type of punches that make your inner tubes go instantly pop. Tubeless will seal. However, when you start getting flint and glass like me, that leaves, you know, that, I mean, that is the actual shape of the hole it left. Oh, I can't see if I can get the focus. You know, that, people who then get fed up because their tubeless tyre hasn't sealed that need to rethink what they, you know, because an inner tube would never do that. You know, an inner tube would go, even if I put an inner tube in that, it would have pushed out that little tear and the inner tube would have punched. So then I'd still have needed something extra with me. Could have been anything, could have been something like this. Or a bit of old, tend to use when I used inner tubes all the time, toothpaste tube. Cut up, because it's nice and round plastic. You can put it in the cut and it stops the inner tube coming out of the cut. But you still need, you know, stuff like that to get you home when it hits the fan. And anyone who thinks, oh well, tubeless should have sealed that. No, it's basically what tubeless does, I personally feel, is rescues you 8 to 9 times out of 10. Often when you don't even know. There's, you know, things like just a standard form like a rose thorn or tiny bit of flint is going to make your inner tube go pop. You then have to stop at the roadside and change it. Often the thorns can be so small that even when you run your fingers around the inside, you often don't feel them, because they can be just in the rubber enough that you don't feel it with your fingers. But as soon as you put pressure on, that little thorn goes pop into your inner tube. And it may not do it straight away, but the amount of times I've seen people change inner tubes, get a mile or two down the road, and then pop again, then you have to start really investigating and getting the inner tyre off and pushing. That doesn't, you know, that's not an issue with tubeless at all. It's never going to be an issue unless you run out of sealing because you haven't replaced it. So, you know, I think this, and this is what annoys me, I don't think me, as a consumer, should be having to find out hacks and try different hacks. So one of my hacks has always been to use off of a tyre, this bit of section here, the sidewalls, cut the bead off, cut the central tread off, and use the sidewall material, which is very strong, doesn't stretch, doesn't grip, but you can stick that with tiger seal over a hole like this and it glue it and seal it. It looks messy as hell from the inside, but then you don't see it. But why should, when they charge so much for the tyres and so much for the technology and the wheels and the sealing, why is it that Pirelli, Vittoria, you know, all the big brands, Continental, why have they not created a proper solution to this? It bloody annoys me, because in the car industry, you know, everyone knows that you get temporary repairs that you can do roadside, and then you go along and you have something like this done, or in scooters to the inside, and then that's you for the life of the tyre. Job done. So now I'm going to give it a go myself, and we're going to see. And you know, I'm going to let this sit on here for, you know, quite a while. I'm not going to put these tyres back on for the, you know, until I have to. These are my bigger tyres. Oh, looks like it's going to rain outside. So these are my bigger tyres. I tend to put these on, probably I reckon I'll stick them on end of summer again. Unless I start having major issues with my thinner 26Cs, which I don't think I will. That seemed, yeah, so why should we, the consumer, be trying to figure out our own hacks? I don't think it's right. I don't know. Do you agree with that? Do you think it's up to the manufacturers to make the products than us to figure out how to prolong the life of them when issues happen? Because I know the manufacturers would love to keep sending us more and more tyres, but when you think that, you know, a tyre like this, I was lucky I got these cheap, but when you think some people are paying up to, what, 40 to almost 80 quid per tyre, and then they could go out and tear it on their first ride, and it's job done. That's you then left figuring out, can I repair it? And if there's an official repair, wouldn't that be nice to be able to come use a temporary repair like I did with the Worm or Dart? Well, Darts are meant to be permanent. Use a repair at the roadside. That means you haven't got to take your wheel off, you haven't got to put an inner tube in. You stick your Worm in, you let that set for a few minutes, you ride off on the rest of your rides, you enjoy your rides, you get home, and then in the dryness of your shed or the warmth of your house, you then have the option to know that actually Pirelli have their own proper patches that can fill, you know, a hole like I had there, which was a gaping hole, and that, you know, you can stick it back on your bike the next day when it's all dry and it's all good, and then you can carry on riding it, and you haven't just blown all your money on that tyre. Because I've done it the amount of Continental 4000 years ago that I used to go through, anyone that knows me and worked with me at the time, it was an ongoing joke. And I was lucky, I was getting them really cheap back then, because we had staff discounts and we used to take advantage of the online discounts. So order them online, take advantage of the discount, then apply staff discount, then apply, oh, it's at the moment, buy two things, get one free. So, you know, you could end up really, you know, with a nice stockpile of tyres. And at one point, I think I did have about 8 Continental 4000s, which didn't cost me hardly anything. And I went through all of those in a summer. The summer when you're not meant to get that many punches. But hey ho, that's me. There you go. That seems to be happily stuck on there. Like I said, I won't put these tyres on straight away. I don't know actually. What do you guys think? Would you like to see how I get on with them? Stick them back on, see if this has worked. See if it's a permanent solution over the summer. Or are you happy to wait for me to get nearer, you know, the winter? And then we'll give it a go then. Let me know. Catch you guys later. Bye.